Alexandra Kosteniuk joining us after a hard-won victory against Zhongyi, a fight between two former world champions. Congratulations on the victory. It's been a challenging start to this tournament after first two games here. How do you feel right now?
Well, it's always nice to win because the tournament is very strong and it's not obvious to win even one game. So, well, I'm happy that I managed, because right after the opening, I thought that it should be an easy draw, like a very fast draw, but then somehow I managed to put some pressure, or rather she started maneuvering strangely.
Well, it was a very important comeback, bounce back for you, and stopping Tan after two victories for her, it's a great success. So do you want to show us some of the key moments?
Yeah, so it was the
exchange line of
the Carlsbad structure, and she opted for knight e4. I know that she played it once, but here I think her opponent played knight g3. I was not really aware of nuances after f5, especially because I thought that bishop f5 is the main move. Maybe I was mixing something up, but okay, right around this moment I had no knowledge whatsoever about this position, and my opponent was playing fast. I played h4 very fast. It looked like a logical move, but then I kind of regretted it, and I thought that maybe I should have played d5 immediately, because after h4 it looks nice, but at the same time I'm saying that I'm not going to castle short anymore, and so I was not sure whether it's a good idea or it's a loss of tempo. So maybe d5 or immediately prepare f3, whatever. I need to do some homework. And then, yeah, I was hesitating every single moment to play or not to play d5. And at some point, I just realized that it's my last chance. Because if I don't play d5 here, she would play bishop c4, and I might end up in a worse position.
Uncomfortable pin.
Or, I don't know. At least I thought that I should equalize, somehow. And I thought that d5 is like the most straightforward way. Okay, she captured on d5, although I thought that she could have played knight b4. I calculated some lines with knight b4, queen b3, and bishop f7, but I'm not sure it works because I can play d6, and I think she's in trouble. Yeah. So, okay, c takes d5 is the right move, I think, and here it should be very, very equal. Okay, at this point my idea was to exchange the queens, so I wanted to play knight f4, rook d6, and queen d5. That was my plan, and then somehow, due to the control over the d file, the weak pawn on f5, somehow, okay, I thought that I'm pressing. That's why I thought that probably should have considered somehow, exchanging the knight immediately by playing knight e6 here. Because a5 is, I don't like this move at all. Because in all the endgames, this pawn will be, it's very bad. Target. Even in the game, like with the pawn on a5, I always have a plan to create a passer. Like in the game, it's rather hanging, so I can attack it, or it helps me to create a passed pawn. So I didn't really understand the reason to play a5 for black. I didn't like this move. And then rook e5 also looked very artificial.
Obviously trying to prevent you from playing rook.
Yeah, here I was like, I spent some time to try to, understand why the capture on a5 is not possible. I was not 100% sure, like knight b3, knight d3 is also rook c7 and rook c8. I was calculating some crazy lines.
Yeah, somehow everything is hanging on both sides.
It's hanging, but I think I can capture. That's what I was calculating. And then queen takes c7, and somehow, queen c2, rook e8. I'm in trouble. So I had to, I had to prove to myself that queen takes a5 doesn't work, because otherwise, you cannot. If the pawn is hanging you and the pawn on a5, you should understand the reason. But okay, that was the line I figured out. And after queen to d4, okay, yeah, I could have played also h5, but I think knight d3 there kind of solves all the problems. And with queen d4, well, after knight d3, I have an extra pawn. I was not so sure. That looks ugly, but at least she has an equal number of pawns. I was not sure how to proceed here, but okay. After knight,
she opted to give up.
Yeah, that's kind of reasonable. She has some compensation, and unfortunately here I wasn't able to exchange queens because f4 doesn't work due to
Why not? Sure.
Yeah, rook d6. I mean, doesn't work in terms of exchanging queens.
Oh, and now
yeah,
the tables have turned here.
Yeah, so I played rook to d to d2. Also, this right now is to play f4. But yeah, she has the only move to keep the rooks on the board, rook b5. But I thought that it's very clever to force the rook on to b5, because here in this line, with the rook on b5 and not on e5, if she captures with the queen, I think I can play queen d4. If she gives a check, king c2, and then somehow king d2, and I'm threatening to give a checkmate. And now, no, it doesn't work. Rook b2. Okay, maybe king d3. Anyway, that was my idea, and I thought that it's very smart of me. Yeah, the line that I wanted to show you. One very beautiful line.
Please.
Here, rook e to b6. Looks a little bit, of course, suicidal, but still, I think I'm winning here by giving checkmate. King g6, h5, but it's not over. King g5, rook g7, and then I think queen d4 is a very smart move. And if she plays rook e5, I was thinking about playing rook g6, and here
she's
king e7.
there.
Yeah, somehow, but I think I'm checkmating here. I was very, very happy to see the line. Yeah, and it's
rook g8.
Yeah, so that was my idea, but of course she played rook c6. And she exchanged a pair of rooks, which is good. And here I was not sure. I think, yeah, rook d5, well, I don't know. I mean, she has a choice to go to the queen's endgame or try and hold this position with the rooks on the board. But the problem is that with the rooks on the board, I always have queen c3, rook g7, so probably she has to go rook d5. But somehow in this endgame, she gave up the second pawn very fast. And the position just became hopeless, but just my technique was a little bit...
Why do you think she gave up a pawn, the second pawn?
It's a question to her. I mean, eventually my plan is to play king e4 and attack it. I have king e2 and, I mean, here...
I mean, obviously she was at this point, Tan was in time pressure a lot.
Yeah, but still, she could have tried to, I don't know, maybe she was... It was difficult for her to find a move, but still I thought that if she has a chance to play even queen a8, but okay, I always can play king a4, so probably this pawn will fall sooner or later. But here it looked so winning, completely winning. I have a plan with f3, e4, but I thought that, okay, what I did in the game is perfectly normal, but then somehow I started hesitating, and I gave up, I blundered upon, because I was calculating all kind of lines. Well, queen endgames, it's always difficult to convert. Yeah, I was calculating queen e6, I think, here. Thought it was very smart for some reason. And I was calculating queen g3 and all this kind of things. But okay, it should be completely winning, but with queen endgames, I mean, you have to be careful because there are so many checks, and when...
If you put the queen in the wrong diagonal...
Okay, my plan is easy, right, to push the pawn onto b7 to promote it. And I mean, sooner or later it should be possible, but I mean, in the game, when I thought that it's okay, she has to resign, I was blundering some checks. So here, for example, I was sure that I'm winning, and then I play queen d4. I expect her to resign, and only realizing that she has queen a5. And okay, but then here I think she could have resigned, because if she plays king h6, that was my idea. I play king c7, queen a7, so we're back to the same position basically, but the king is on h6, so I play queen d4, and after queen a5, king c8, the checkmate on h8 is threatening, so she cannot protect from both threats. And yeah, like, okay, g5, it's similar to resigning. I mean, she didn't want to resign. I was low on time, pretty low on time for minutes, but I mean, I can always give dozens of checks, win a few minutes, and then convert. So the rest was pretty easy.
Obviously, you've had many of these situations where you were up and the opponent wasn't giving up and looking for checks. How stressful are these situations for you?
Well, it depends.
And are they always stressful even after so many years and so many games being?
It depends. I mean, sometimes you keep your cool, and you should actually keep your cool, but sometimes you lose. Like in the first game, for example, in time trouble, somehow I lost concentration and completely collapsed. It can happen in time trouble, but okay, that's why you should stay focused, keep cool, and just believe that 30 seconds should be enough, especially in this kind of in such technical positions.
Fair enough. How will you now relax after this game?
Well, I cannot relax because, you know, in this Grand Prix, I always have 3 out of 4 blacks. Like, I'm very lucky. I get always more blacks. So tomorrow is another black game, and it's always tough. So
immediately preparation for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm playing against Mariya Muzychuk, so
one of the
no
leaders,
time with blacks, so no time to relax. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, we won't take too much of your time now. Thank you so much for this, and good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.